Right. Okay. Well, hi there.
Hey
Good
guys,
afternoon, David. Welcome
Good
to
afternoon.
Noisy Panda.
Noisy.
Welcome, Stephen, to Noisy Panda.
thank you.
We're going to make some noise this afternoon.
There you go.
Sounds good.
The fun thing about it is that it's going to be all your noise, David.
Okay.
Um,
That's good.
I, un-
That's
when I first found your work, I was absolutely fascinated to find out that you're an illustrator, and then and you were doing books and games and
mm,
that sort of thing. And but
yeah.
perhaps you could tell us a little bit about how you started out in the first place. Is that what you always wanted to
Yeah.
do? Is that, or has it just happened?
No, absolutely. It's something I've had since being a child. I always loved to draw. Mimic other styles, mimic things that I liked. And that all led me to art college. So people saying, "Oh, you should go for it, doing HND or something." So that's what I did for 5 or 6 years. And then you develop like your skills and the way you want to go. But I think it all began after art college, really, when I started getting work as an illustrator for editorial companies. There
Yeah.
was like two main ones. One was Lip International, based in Manchester. Another one was Fountainhead Studios. I think they don't exist anymore. They moved on to another name, but it's mostly editorial work, which is fun and interesting. And I was like still developing different styles of working at that point. But I think I first got my big break with children's books. Um,
Okay.
people like the vibrancy of the colors and things that the editorials have said your work is too somber. It's great, but we want more color. So adds explosions of color. So that's when I start experimenting with like a lot of use of strong, vibrant, vivid colors and things to make the artwork pop. And I think after that, I carried on with various editorial pieces, different authors, some not so great, but some were really good and really enjoyable. I still do that today at the moment. I got a couple of clients for children's book work, but I think my passion was always into Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That was the major impact as a kid growing up, watching Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings. It was like I was totally blown away. Really, this exists, you know. And later on, when the film came out, well, I was living in Argentina at the time. I was just like, wow, this is incredible. This is what we have now, and kind of blew my mind, and at the same time inspired me in my work. So I've always been into fantasy, not so much the sci-fi end, but more the like dragons and knights, and I was always fascinated by the medieval times. I remember my parents took me a few times to Harlech Castle up in Wales, where I come from, and we used to go and see like jousting matches and things like that, but properly done. I was just like, wow. As a kid, it was like, my God, there's so much inspiration here. Quite overwhelming. So I became fascinated by the armor, the weaponry, the everything about it, and then started including bits and pieces into my artwork. So I think it was about 5 years ago now, I started working with a game developer. He's originally a graphic designer with his own company, but he was building this game called Kings and Kingdoms. So over the course of the past 5 years, we've both been working. He's been coding it, designing it, and everything, and I've been head of all the illustrations, all the environments, down from like houses to tools to weapons, everything. And that kind of was my dream job. It's
This is all based in the medieval period then, or your own fantasy version of the medieval times?
well, basically, it's a mixture. It's a mixture of fiction and factual.
Yeah,
So I take a lot of reference from real armor that was worn in the time, accompanied by like YouTubers like Shadiversity and Skullgrim. They're like historians of how things really were at that time. So I take note because it's good doing like fantastical things, but sometimes you can get a bit ridiculous with the kind of armor that you wear, especially for the ladies, you know. It's just like, okay, is this really armor? No, not really. But some part of it is protection, you know. So you take all these things into consideration, and I try to mishmash them all together into like
yeah.
different
I was
characters.
fascinated. We were fortunate to have to mint an NFT of the Lady Knight, I think was she was called, and
Right.
that was yeah. So did she actually have her own suit of armor? There's no helmet, of course, because you have this wonderful flowing hair coming out the top.
That's right.
But
It's
she
it's.
would. Sorry.
Please continue.
Would she have been wearing a full body armor, or just half of it, or
No, she would be fully clad. Like, for example, you could take, I think Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones?
She was a knight, and that's what she wore. So this is what she would wear, you know.
Yeah,
But this is just like when you remove parts like the helmet and let the hair go and things, you're more vulnerable. You know, it's more ladylike. You know, but clad in armor, fully clad, then she's a warrior and she can fight. You know, but this is like the more serene version of like, you know, this is like she's fair, but she's like hidden underneath. Maybe I'll continue a series of doing things like that.
yeah. I thought it
Um,
was really charming. It's fascinating that
yeah.
the way you speak about it, because the other knights that you were drawing as well, they're also
Mm,
sort of they're there, but they're almost as if they're in the mist. So we see sort of
yes.
half of what
Yeah.
they are, and I felt, and again, we've been fortunate to be able to mint those as well, which are available as limited editions. But I mean, I was just
While you're
fascinated.
talking, while you're talking about minting in your game, why don't you guys do a quick plug? So since this is technically live, might as well tell them where you can buy his NFTs,
Oh
because
well.
everyone's like, this is
Mhm,
awesome. And then
mhm.
if you want to plug your website, and then we'll go into like the next set of questions, because someone may want to actually buy the night, which actually we did put across social media, and it got a lot of positive feedback. So
Yeah,
Oh wow. Yeah, I think I got about 300 views on one of my Facebook groups, Fantasy
nice.
and Barbarians. A lot of people give me a lot of nice comments about that. I think this now, this style of work is my own, my way of like expressing, you know, even if it's not for anything in particular, it's just like doing it. Um, because I was trained as like a freehand illustrator, you know, artist, designer, whatever you want, back in our college. And after, I used to paint a lot with acrylic paints and things, and do like canvases and things. Um, but then, you know, as time goes on, money gets tighter, and you can't get the work. You switch to digital media because everybody's working on digital anyway, you know, and refining that. So I got myself one of these, which is it's a bit, which is like the XP pad pan
yeah.
tablet, and the digital pen to go with it.
Oh, so
That's that.
the one that we've minted for, or the knights and the lady
Yeah,
that we've
yeah.
minted for you on
Oh,
voice.com,
mhm.
which is available under Noisy Panda NFT on voice.com. That's all digital art. There's no
Yes.
paintbrush that came out, nothing. It's all,
N- No, it's I draw naturally.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I start off with sketches and rough ideas and things, and that's where the beautiful program Photoshop comes in, because I have to use Photoshop with the tablet. It's not like one of, you know, you can't just draw on the tablet and Photoshop's encrypt. Those are really expensive. I can't afford them. So I need a PC to connect to Photoshop to be able to use all the tools in Photoshop. I make up a lot of just splashing around with color and things and backgrounds. So and then I put them in a collection. And so when I come to, okay, this might be a nice atmosphere for this background, and then I start kind of just with different brushes, experimenting, like all these smoky lines and the textures and things, and then you just integrate them and build them up, not expecting what's going to come out, because like it could go well, it could be like, oh, I don't like that, and try something else. But sometimes it hits, and you think, wow, okay, that's a nice atmosphere, and you just got to remember how you did it.
Yeah.
So
but it all starts off with that original sketch on the paper.
yeah.
So if people are real fans of your work, they could
mm.
at some stage actually buy that Genesis drawing from you.
Oh yeah. But it's because I don't do a lot of sketching on paper at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to. It's all done with a digital pad, but I'll be moving to another property at some point this month, so I'm going to get my art material set up. Do some acrylic painting again. Get back into hand drawing, because the scanner and printer I've got is a bit crappy, so it doesn't scan that well. And when you can't afford another one at the time, you just use what you got. So
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're producing art, the sort of digital art of the quality we're seeing at the moment with the things that you've got, then we're going to hold our hats, because we're on for some fantastic things. I think so once you moved and get settled in, I'm really excited for you.
well, I'm hoping everything goes through this month, so I can have my own pad and just like get set up properly. That style with the knights and the drawings and that I've sent you already. I got lots of them, so I got more to send you.
Okay, I'm sure your fan base will be interested in seeing that.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Dark Souls and From Software. Elden Ring, the best games ever made, ever, in my opinion, my humble opinion. And that's where I get most of my inspiration from. The atmosphere, the character design, that tatteredness, it's because they have he loves British law, English law, because we have a rich heritage of myths and legends and things like that. And Miyazaki, the head of From Software, he loves all that. I mean, the latest one was George R.R. Martin wrote the basis for Elden Ring, and then they built the game around that. So again, sometimes all this information floods in, and then I just get to work. I just like, where's my pencil? Where's my pen? And just like start doodling. But that's basically
something completely different as well. I just sort of sprung to mind. You'd also done some. What was the one we printed on voice.com for you? The NFT, or the Witch's Apprentice, I think. I ended up giving calling it. And that was that something that came out of one of the children's books that you were doing? Because that was completely. I mean, I looked twice when I saw it. I thought, well, David, was it you? Did I am I looking at the wrong file? Because
no. It doesn't.
Tell me a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you about that. With the Witching Hour, I called it, but it doesn't matter. Its title is a title. I think.
I think that was something that I did Google that, and I think it was something that was involved in a game. So it came when I did it. It was The Witch's Apprentice, but
it's that cute little witch with the broom, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I did a series of them. I did one girl sitting in a chair reading a book with pumpkins and things. Yeah, they were children's ideas. Not for children's books. It's just like. I was looking, what's selling at the moment? Oh, Halloween's coming. So I decided to do a series of characters based on a different kind of style, you know, a different way of working, cute, but with a little bit sinister to it as well. You know, it's like,
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
sorry, my cat. It's like a kind of Tim Burton-esque style kind of atmosphere to it, but still retaining what I've learned over the years. You know, and it's. I think a lot of cute things are selling these days, but it's so mainstream. There's no life in what I'm seeing in the mainstream. For the most part, there's a lot of good illustrators out there and wonderful work, but a lot of the same stuff I've seen creeping up over the time. Well, if it sells, it sells, but it's like much like generic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create these little cute characters, but different. You know, something that looks a bit weird, that looks a bit off or something, you know, but it's cute at the same time, you know. So I quite like that kind of atmosphere where something's not quite right about this. You know, it's just like there's something going on beyond this, you know, cute image, which is like what I try to convey a lot, you know, in my work. And there's things like I haven't sent them yet to you yet. There's some very, very full scenes of like mystical forestry and things. And while your eye is captured on the main figure in the foreground, there's so much going on in the background that you just got to keep looking. It's just like maybe there's something in the trees or something. That's when I get very immersed and deep into what I'm doing, you know.
Well, I'm excited to see that coming, because the thing that I minted after I did The Witch's Apprentice, straight after that, again on voice.com under Noisy Panda NFT, was Forbidden Lands. And you talking about the cuteness, there was almost an innocence about this girl standing there. And then when I started to look twice, she's got this monster sword in her hand, and you know, I mean, what's she going to do? Is she going to battle in the Forbidden Lands? I mean,
well, you know,
because
I
found it so very tense but cute at the same time, which I think is, I don't know if that is what you were trying to achieve, or
yeah, I wanted to capture kind of like the calm before the storm. You know, it's like okay, she shouldn't really be in these lands, and how she got there, that's for the observer to how did she get there? Why is she gesturing in the way she's gesturing? Maybe it looks like rain, as like thunderstorms, or maybe there's something else. Maybe there's like this is the place, because I put a little abbey, little ruin abbey in front of her. If you look closely, and my intention was like, okay, she's like a wildling, but she's on a pilgrimage. You know, she's not the huge warrior like a barbarian. She's much more vulnerable than that. Although she could take care of herself, obviously, because she grew up in that kind of clan. And I thought pilgrimage would be awesome, because you don't really see much of that going on these days.
no, that's a fascinating, fascinating
I,
look at it.
it's like kind of I wanted that mysticism, but the tension, but at the same time the serenity of the moment. It's like it's more about capturing the moment of that scene. You know, whatever happens, you decide. Because I leave that open. It's just
is she going to come back again? Or is she a one-off? Because we don't see her face, so like you say, it's intriguing as to what's going to happen.
That's what the audience decide, really. Because like if they want to see more of this character, then I'll do more of this character. But it's like, you know, I'm just trying to visualize thoughts sometimes. When I make music, I write, compose, play guitar. It's more like diaries, you know, diaries of solitude, diaries of you know, anything. It could be anything, you know. So sometimes my art is like that. When I'm not really focused on doing anything in particular, I always come back to the fantasy element. I always come back to the medieval times, or like you know, I mean. With the exception of like the last season of Game of Thrones, there was a lot going on and a lot of atmosphere, and they wore what they wore, you know, the attention to detail, the attention to armor, the attention to the weather, you know, the atmospheres, the lighting, you know. So I try to take elements of these things and try and incorporate them into paintings or drawings. So yeah, there was one I think this is the very first one I sent you, which is like Night of Old.
Yes, Night of Old, yeah.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
the very first one we minted on
that's it.
voice.com.
That's it. Yeah.
Noisy
So
Panda NFTs.
I was like, I never get many likes on Facebook if I post in groups or whatever. It just doesn't happen. And then I thought, well, this is an experiment. It was like a kind of idea for a logo or like some cover of something that it's stark, it's medieval. You can see it's a knight or a warrior clad in armor, but it's got like this misty smoke effect. So it's like kind of dispersing into the background. And I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. Okay, so I put it out there. This is like in 1 day, no, 2 days, I got about 300 likes on Facebook. I thought, oh my God, people really like this.
No, well, that's how I found you, David. Because of that. I mean, I share your passion for you know, for Game of Thrones and that medieval thing. Maybe it's a Brit thing. I don't know. Maybe we feel we should be
could very well be
still be living in castles somewhere. But yeah, as soon as I saw that, I thought I have to find out who this guy. I have to who is David Griffiths. I have to find out. And yeah, I was lucky. I found the one. You gave me the opportunity to mint that and on voice.com, and then we came back and have some more stuff. And I hope that people can really appreciate that these are just going to be one-offs. We're not going to they're not going to be multitude of digital versions of this. If you want these wonderful knights in armor and these wonderful fantasy characters, it's a one-off opportunity to purchase them as an NFT. And they would just be, I'm sure they'll be fabulous in your wallet, and you can share it digitally with your friends, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think that's one. I mean, I've never really been made a lot of money out of illustration or anything like that. You know, you get what you can at the time. You know, whatever's on offer. But I think it's the passion of doing it. You know, since you were a kid, and even up until this day and age now. You know, I've grown. I've developed. I've seen a lot of art. I've been to a lot of galleries. I've seen a lot of heritage places. You know, been around Britain. And yeah, I mean, I think at one point in Argentina, I got to do the classics like Moby Dick, Robinson Crusoe, and they were just pen and ink drawings that I did for Estrada editorial. And they came out really nicely, but it was nice to do something different. You know, this is not original tale, but I get to interpret it as I wish, you know, so that was really cool. But I think, yeah, I think, because I like history, as you know, and I think all these things accumulated, and as you grow over the years, doing what you do in art or illustration, you just find your niche. You find your sometimes your mind is all over the place because you've got to switch between like simplistic art or children's book art, which are not necessarily as intricate and beautiful as the fantasy realms. But then I don't get a lot of opportunity to get anywhere with that kind of side of things. NFTs, I've never done any NFTs. I've read all about them and how it works and things like that. But yeah, it's
well, we're absolutely thrilled to have you as part of our NFT artist portfolio.
It's true, I have a lot of artists as well.
Yeah, but we try to be as diverse as possible.
Yeah, that's good.
Because what I like, I have a very simple rule for myself. If I like it, then there's a chance that somebody else may like it.
Yes,
so I try to keep a very open mind as to the artists that I try and encourage to come and join us. But yeah, there are one or two artists that just sort of think that, that tickle me a little bit more. Let's put it that way. And yeah, I mean, I loved your stuff right from the get-go. So I'm I'm not just saying that because here we are
Thank you.
talking to you, but
Yes.
that whole thing that it was, I could see all those knights in armor, but I couldn't, and I
Mm.
the first thing I wanted to do was to sort of almost to stick my head into that image to see where the armor finished and where all those it always the the knight, the wisdom knight, how it with all the smoke and the mist behind him. Absolutely fascinating, and I hope that other people can really appreciate it. There are loads of people out there who love fantasy stuff and they're always looking for it. So I just encourage people to come and on voice.com and check out a Noisy Panda NFT and look for David Griffiths, because his stuff is hot, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
And
you.
But the other thing, though, David, when you move to your new flat, you can actually paint or draw some, so people can not only just get the NFT, they'll actually be able to get the physical asset as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, another big influence, just while we're touching on those misty nights, he was one of the oldest photographers I know, Daguerre, the Daguerre type. That was, to me, the highest we have in photography, because in the image it looks like it's not like a normal photograph. It's something you are drawn inside. It's like another world in there. And I was my kind of my idea to work towards is to get to refine or to explore more this misty nights style of work, and try and do something that you just not, it's not on the surface. It draws the mind inside it, and you want to know more about it. It's difficult to explain in words, but that's daguerreotype. And then, like, if you look at my nights, and maybe I want to try and get into that world, but it's not just on the surface level, So it's a huge challenge.
Will you be able to do that as a painting or an etching, if you will, or a drawing as well, or just digitally?
It's very well. Oh yeah, I mean, I've done lots of etchings back in art college. Right. I never really had any gear to do anything with after that, but that's why I went into like painting and line work and ink, pen, pencil. That was my medium. But there's so much you can do with those mediums. It's like real, and it's just like finding the way to do it, finding the way to explore. Yeah, of course. Once I move, I'll get everything set up, so I will be able to get back into practical, physical paintings and drawings again.
So when you move, that would be fun to have another interview with you and show the studio and what you're working on as well. And this way your fans can see kind of like live what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have a lot more to send to David, so I just got to go through them and then like choose the ones that I think these will look good, gotcha. And then like get them over to you. Yeah.
David's our curator, so if David likes it, we like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way to because I have a lot of links because I'm on a lot of websites. So if I send you all the links, all my page links to David or something, then you'll have all the places that you can see my work.
Do you have you said you had an Instagram account, so if someone wants to follow you on Instagram, what do they do?
Oh right, I've got. What I'll do is I'll send David all the links.
We'll put it in the bottom of the YouTube.
Exactly. So yeah, exactly. Because that's where all the links go anyway. When people watch YouTube, you can go here.
We don't know, David. You're our first interview, so you're interview number 1. So you're a guinea pig. So everyone's going to be able to see how good, bad we do. So that's what I'm saying. So when you're settled, we'll probably do another interview, and by then we'll actually know what we're doing.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'd love to do it. Yeah, that'd be great. Absolutely.
Yeah. David.
Yes.
I have two Davids now. I have David G and David V. So
Yeah.
no, this is fascinating to kind of get inside your, like what you do and what I've seen the pieces, the NFTs are absolutely gorgeous. So I know when I post them on my stuff, especially the night, got tons and tons of reactions to it. So I'm assuming at some point someone will wander over to Voice and purchase an NFT from you, and you'll be kind of off to the races.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Well, I mean, I think the only platform I've ever sold anything on is Displate, and they went for all my Dark Souls fan art, and it's just like, oh, why do people like this? But then I think they changed the policies, so all of them are gone now. So those were limited editions. But it's okay. I mean, I got so much more of that kind of style in my own original artwork, and yeah, I'll just keep sending you more illustrations for the site, and see if anybody.
We wanted to have the stuff that comes out of your head, David, because that's the stuff that we really like, and obviously there are, and Noisy Panda is always respectful of other people's copyright. So we try. We vet everything as much as we possibly can. Maybe there are one or two things that slip through the net, in which case we say to everybody, please tell us, and we'll remove it. We don't have an issue with that, but it's about the stuff that you're producing, and because certainly the quality of the work that we've seen already, you deserve that a lot more people see it to get as excited about it as Steve and myself.
Well, that would be wonderful if I could show my work to more and more people, and just bring some joy into the world, and awesome, interesting ideas. That's always been my first and foremost.
Awesome darkness, David, probably.
Yeah. It's funny that the Barbarian Woman, the Forbidden Lands, and it was her. And the Night, the latest one I sent you. I wrote in Old English a couple of phrases just to relate to the images, and then a couple of friends on Facebook started continuing the poem from me because they loved it so much. So it's like, that's really nice. I like that. So I'm getting feedback, but also inspiring other people to write stuff, what they see in the image. So I like that.
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be really. I mean, if you post it on Instagram and then give people the opportunity, they can find out about where they can buy the NFT, but they can also, join into the whole story behind it. We're a bit limited in when we mint them as the amount of information that I can add to that, and I thought it's really more important that people know that you are the illustrator. Hopefully going forward, we'll have the opportunity on different platforms as Noisy Panda expands the portfolio platform, that we'll have an opportunity to put all the things that you've sent us, and because that's some of the stuff that you put down, about the NFTs and what and the imagery. Yeah, they deserve to be seen by a lot more people. But I'm restricted for space at the moment.
That's okay. That's no problem at all. That's okay.
And next time you do something that you feel is magnificent, let us know, and we'll do a 10 or 15-minute interview and show everybody before David even mints it.
Okay,
and then this way people can take a look at it and see it, and you can explain the detail or the mysticism or what we're missing, because we're just taking a first look. And then this way people can see everything. And then so we can do something like that. So in the next couple of weeks, as you come up with something, just let them know, and we'll set up another, and everybody can see it.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. Excellent.
So gentlemen, do you have anything else, or are we all good?
No,
I'm good.
Okay. I'd just like to say thank you, David, from my side. It's been fascinating to speak to you, and I'm really excited, as to what I'm going to see from you next.
I'll send some more stuff this evening, so that you can have a look at it, and see what you think. But I want to thank you both for inviting me to the interview. That was kind of unexpected, but a pleasure to join in, and
It was a
disclose some
pleasure. It was a
information.
pleasure to have you, and thank you for being our first.
Yeah.
So
and,
thank
as
you,
our
thank you.
as we grow, everyone will be that David was the first, and there you go.
uh,
So it's always better to be remembered as the first.
It is, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
That's
and,
wonderful.
and making noise. Noisy Panda's making some noise.
There
exactly.
you go.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's what we do. Make
Yeah.
a lot
All
of
right,
noise.
guys.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.